New Game Plus with Nerd Squared. Take it away.
Alright, thank you for that, Ek. Hello everyone, I am Nerd Squared, purveyor of various horror and indie games. And as they were saying, this is going to be the Silent Hill 2 remake. And as you might be able to imagine from his intro and the estimate being way shorter than a restricted run, if you're familiar with that, the game got kind of broken open over the past year, and I'm going to try to showcase some of that. Go right into it just because there's a lot to explain, and the intro is a pretty good point to explain it all, because there's not much that really happens in the first 5 minutes. Just a couple of quick things here with difficulty. Combat, change to light, because combat doesn't really matter for New Game Plus, because we're gonna beam things anyway, for reasons you'll see pretty soon. And then puzzle challenge I set to hard, because that's just what I have in my muscle memory. And last time I ran this on a hotfix was back in September for Anarchy's show, Hidden Heroes. During that run, I had some modded skins in place, so surely we won't see any of that this time. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started here. Time is going to start as soon as I skip this cutscene and I gain control of James. See who I've replaced James with shortly. But anyways, start in 3, 2, 1... go. Okay, so actually I tricked y'all again. We're not playing Silent Hill 2. Somehow in my email I got a leaked build of Deltarune Chapter 5, so we're playing as Ralsei now. Minor details. But yeah, any percent. What's that about? So you might be familiar with the last time this game was ran at a mainline GDQ, where Captain Ezekiel did a great run of New Game Restricted, and also on Hard as well. But there's also a glitch category we have for the game. At the time it was called Unrestricted. You know, Restricted, Unrestricted, pretty clean split there. But the glitch we had to break the game in that category was awful. If you've seen any glitch runs of the game from around that time, from when the game launched to about spring of last year, you likely know what it is. Basically, to kind of quickly explain it, we use some low FPS trickery by manually capping the frame rate through external capping tools like Riva Tuner and things like that. Because the way the game loads things, first of all, it kind of loads the game in chunks. At least that's the way I understand it. And the speed at which the game loads those chunks up the stage is dependent on the frame rate of the game. Don't really know why that is, it's just an Unreal Engine thing. It's pretty consistent across a lot of Unreal Engine games, actually. So what we do is we play the game at a low frame rate, we trick the game into loading certain areas slower, so that we could just progress through the area before the game loads fully. And that's kind of our main mechanism that we had for breaking the game at the time. But that is awful, like I said, because with the frame rate being so low, you do not have much control over James. Well, you do, but the controls are very finicky. They tend to be pretty delayed. So not a lot of people ran it for the longest time. I can speak from experience, having ran the category a lot since launch. It was not fun. But there was a big breakthrough, I think it was around March of last year, if I'm remembering right. One of our resident glitch hunters in the community, Akion, yeah, that's how you pronounce it. He came to the Discord one day, this is around mid-March, I think, again, if I'm remembering right. And he posted this video to the SH2R channel in the Silent Hill speedrunning Discord. And he said, hey, I found this glitch while I was messing around. Do you have any use for it? And what Akion ended up finding quite literally broke this game in half. As Zach was alluding to during the intermission, it's referred to as the breakout glitch, or at least that's our colloquial name for it. And what he essentially found, what Akion essentially found, is if you do some sort of animation, like reloading a gun, for example, or even just bringing out an item like the chainsaw that I just got from the inventory, real quickly quick turning, and then right after quick turning, or even in the middle of quick turning, interacting with a traversal, like hopping over a window ledge or shimmying through a crawl space, causes James to get into the breakout state. Or I guess gets Ralsei into the breakout state in this case. Where essentially you have no clip, for lack of a better word. Collision for walls doesn't exist, and you do not lose height while moving. And you can essentially use that to skip pretty big chunks of the game. Like, even in areas where we just didn't think to skip things before, because we thought, oh, there's probably a trigger there that'll prevent us from skipping things. Turns out that's not the case. We can do a breakout to get past it. So that very wildly changed the route, as you might imagine, because that big of a glitch being found pretty much opened the Pandora's box for this game. I remember when this glitch was first found back in spring of last year, it got to a point where just about every day there's either a new skip being found or a new method for a previous skip that was found that made the glitch easier, or the skip in question easier and a bit more consistent. There are double-edged swords to breakouts, though, because that no-clip state that I was talking about, it only lasts for the duration of the traversal that you're doing the breakout off of. So if you're inside of a wall when the breakout ends, you are stuck in that wall forever and cannot recover, and besides reloading checkpoint. So you have to be kind of wary of that throughout the run, because it can cause a little bit of softlock potential. And because of the amount of stuff that we skip, we end up skipping some autosave points that we would get otherwise. So just have to be wary of that throughout the run. And speaking of breakouts, we have our very first one coming up. If you're familiar with the game, this is kind of where we chase this monster. We'll kind of see him just out of frame. And then we'd kill him in this upcoming house where we'd get the radio and the plank. But I could do a breakout involving bringing out the chainsaw from the menu to initiate a breakout. It's a little tricky to time, and I'm admittedly a little rusty with this game, so we'll see how it pans out. Okay, got it first try, nice. So you can see I'm just kind of zooming off into the distance, and now I'm over here. As wild as that looks, that's not where it ends, because we have another one right after. That one's pretty small, it just skipped encountering that enemy, like I said, and getting the radio and the plank. But this one's much bigger, because it'll allow us to skip a much bigger portion of the game. It lets us pretty much skip this entire intro bit. It's going to involve that same tech where I, in this case, go into the map to force me to bring out the chainsaw. There we go. We'll just zip to the other side of that fence there. And as small as that skip looked, it's very significant because that skips a whole side quest, basically, where you'd have to put together a record to put into a record player at the Muley's bar. And then from that record player, you get a key to get to that back area where I just was. And then you'd be able to get the key to the apartments. But with breakouts, we can just skip right there. Now that we have the key, we'll be making our way over to the apartments. On the way there, coming up, I'm going to take a quick detour, because this is New Game Plus, and with New Game Plus, we have access to a few extra endings. Notably, the dog and UFO endings you might be familiar with from the vanilla game. And I'm going to get the first part of the item that's required for the dog ending right here. Just one part of the dog key there, the broken key part as you saw. We can't go for UFO in this, it's just way too slow, it's way out of the way. And there is actually a new ending that was added, specifically for New Game Plus for the remake, called Bliss Ending. We did try doing a bit of routing for that, but unfortunately it doesn't work out for a really annoying reason that I'll explain once we get to the hotel at the end of the run. Right now we're in the first major area, the apartments. Apartments is actually relatively vanilla as far as skips go. There are some breakouts that we'll see later, but for the most part it's pretty standard. First off though, as is standard with Soundco, we have to get a flashlight. Can't interact with items without it. Also, the mannequins have kicks, don't worry about it. Again, minor details. So just sock that mannequin there. and his kicks with the chainsaw. The chainsaw is the most powerful weapon in the game, by the way, and that's why we pick it up for New Game Plus. Because the chainsaw pretty much one-shots every normal enemy, and for every boss, if 5 or in some cases 6 shots him, as we'll see with Pyramid Head in particular. So that's pretty much going to be our main weapon for most of the run, at least combat-wise. We will pick up the pistol later on because it's required, but we're not exactly going to use it for combat for reasons you'll see pretty soon. Go over to the other side of the apartments here. This cutscene that will skip Laura, as always, is going to be a gremlin and kick a key away from us. So we have to go to the other side of the apartments to get it. You'll notice when I'm going up and down stairs that I'm dodging. It's a little faster than just going up and down stairs normally. Just speeds up James's movement a little bit. It's also not really a time save, but just a neat little trick here. Because I skipped getting the radio and the plank earlier, I just don't have them. And as always with the radio, when an enemy is nearby, it'll make a hissing sound at you. And should I have picked up the radio earlier, there'd be a mannequin, I believe, or a line figure actually, nearby that would cause the radio to hiss, and that would cause James to bring out the chainsaw. Well, when we're picking up that golden apple handle there, you kind of have to sit still for a second for the interact prompt to come up. And if you stand still for too long with the chainsaw out, James does this weird animation where he raises the chainsaw over his head like he's trying to cosplay Leatherface. But by not picking up the radio, James does not get alerted and doesn't bring out the chainsaw, so we can pick up the apple handle no problem. So we picked up that key on the first floor. That'll let us get to the other half of the second floor here. This is where we'll get our pistol. I mentioned earlier that pistols aren't going to be used as a weapon, or we will use it a little bit as a weapon later during the Eddie fight. But the main use for the speedrun is breakouts. I mentioned earlier that there's a bunch of different animations you can do to initiate breakouts. And reloading a weapon is one of those, so we'll be using pistol reloads to initiate breakouts a lot throughout the rest of the run. I also did a quick dodge there in that hallway. That just avoids a quick stumble animation after James hears that scream. Dodge past a few enemies here. On the restricted run, enemies are much more of a problem. You just have to deal with them a lot more. And what makes them extra annoying is, I believe their aggression is dependent on the FPS. So you kind of have to be a little careful about dealing with them when they do pop up. But like I said, any percent you don't really have to deal with them all that much. Come on. I did that wrong. Hold up. Oh, that still counted. Okay. Yeah, it's very easy to mess up that combination of the dials, so I just had to make sure I did that right. Yeah, the aggression of enemies is dependent on the FPS, so I actually have my FPS capped at 60. You can probably see it in the bottom or top right there. That just makes dealing with enemies a bit easier. So in that room I just passed, I was supposed to grab a key to get to the stairs here to go to the 3rd floor. We can do a breakout here to just skip right through the door instead of grabbing the key to go through it. So just do a breakout there, 2 dodges to the left, and we're on the stairs. Once I get to the 3rd floor here, there is another small breakout I could do to get straight to the canned juice instead of doing all this running that I'm about to do, dodging these mannequins. But there's a pretty high chance... Hold on, I have to listen here. Just have to listen there to dodge those mannequins. The breakout here is a pretty good chance of soft locking if you mess it up. And during one of my previous hotfix runs, I did have that happen, so I'm just being cautious and not doing it this time. What I will do this time is this, though. If you do this breakout, you can just, like, get into the room in advance and grab the canned juice a bit early. It's also kind of funny because you can just kind of make James breakdance on the floor there. And normally you'd have to go downstairs here and talk to Eddie. We can do a breakout here just by dodging backwards. There we go. That'll get us to the courtyard. It's kind of funny, because he didn't trigger Eddie, he's still doing his thing in the background. So we land in the courtyard there, and you can hear him puking in the distance. So now we'll be gathering 3 coins. We already grabbed the man coin earlier. We got the snake coin there in the pool. And we'll grab the woman coin here, and we'll do the coin puzzle. It's pretty similar, actually, to OG or Vanilla, if you've played that, but there's a few more steps to it, which makes it a lot more involved. This line figure can be kind of annoying and puke at me as I run back. He's in a good spot, so it looks like he won't. Okay, cool. So let's lock in and do this coin puzzle pretty well here. See what happens. Come on. We messed up a little bit, but largely got it right. So doing that will give us the key to apartment 201, and that room is what's going to lead us to the other old apartments. The remake is interesting in that it expands a lot more on individual areas in the game. Like some areas in the game just have a lot more screen time. And just an overall is a lot longer in general, as evident by how long this run is. Otherworld Apartments in particular is a lot longer than it is in OG, because in OG you're only there for like a second maybe, but there's a much more involved sequence here involving the Otherworld Apartments, which is pretty cool. Oh. Got a little turn around there, but that's alright. Oh my gosh. The line figures have the chucks too. Okay, I did not expect that. I don't know if that's how they just are in the game or if that's a mod I put in and didn't realize, but hey. It looks so ridiculous.
So, quick question about the mod, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you run the game often with the mod, or, vanilla?
I actually don't. I usually run vanilla. Whenever I showcase this for events, I just like to put the mods on for fun.
That's actually perfect then. So
yeah.
my question here is, does it make doing any of the tech harder? Because I imagine the model could be different. I'm not too sure, but basically, how different is it?
Not very. It doesn't really change hitboxes all that much. But yeah, I can do some really fun stuff with the mod. Like when that time I ran for Anarchy Show Hidden Heroes, I replaced Pyramid Head with Thomas the Tank Engine, just to give you an idea. And for a previous online event I ran for, I replaced James with a 2001 polygonal version of him. Anyways, do another breakout there while I was talking about that. Going on a side tangent. That lets us get the 306 key out of sequence. You're supposed to go in there and turn open a valve. But we can just exit the room the wrong way and go straight to 306. It also has an added safety benefit because it avoids spawning a couple of mannequins that are supposed to spawn in that hallway. Another small breakout here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. That'll get us right next to the valve, just like that. This is the only valve we have to turn in all the apartments, besides one other one coming up. Oh my god. It gets me every time, and I know I have these installed. Oh, man. Alright, so we'll turn this valve. So let's get the first of 3 hands for the clock. If you're familiar with the OG clock puzzle, it's pretty similar here, but with an added dimension to the puzzle. Because it's the same puzzle as the original, and same solution actually, 9-10. But they add seconds in for this, just to change it up, I guess. And as we place more and more of these hands, it unlocks more of the otherworld apartments. And we have probably the grossest part of the game, once I break open this wall. Because if you thought the game was wild up until this point, well, to get this next hand, we're gonna have to fish into a toilet. Ralsei is enjoying this, clearly. Need to make sure to not back out of this too quickly, otherwise I'll cancel the interaction and have to start over from the beginning, which is very slow. So I'm gonna kill the slime figure so it isn't an issue. And I'm gonna do another breakout here after I break this wall open. Normally we'd have to do a couple of puzzles to go down to the lower floor to pick up the key of resilience to get back upstairs. But with this breakout here, I can take a shortcut there instead. I switched to 30 FPS because, like I was saying, loading is different at different FPS. And this particular skip, among a couple of others, works better at 30. So just take a quick second to let the level deload here fully. Oh shoot, I messed that up. So unfortunately I'm gonna have to reload that because I ended up diving a little too late and ended up out of bounds when the game loaded back in. That's alright, we'll just try that again. When I was pausing there, what that does is it lets the level deload. It takes around 10 seconds to deload once I'm fully out of bounds there. And we usually pause in runs when we're letting the environment deload, because this game is timed by LRT, or load removed time. And the time for that doesn't count when you're in the pause menu, like this. So usually just do that to save a little bit of in-game time. There we go. Timed it correctly that time, but that's alright. So that skips the two puzzles I was talking about, which are pretty quick, but they're still kind of lengthy collectively. Now let's get the knife there and then the key to get out. I'm going to pause here both to change FPS and also to reload off of that checkpoint that I got when I picked up the knife. It just lets me pick up the key right here without having to re-grab it off the table. It's a minor time saver there. Here, Pyramid Head doing his thing, cleaning up there. Another thing, and you'll see it again here when I pick up this syringe, which I don't normally pick up. I'm gonna go ahead and do it just for a bit of safety. Whenever I pick up an item, I real quickly tap aim. That just interrupts a short animation where James puts the item that you just picked up in his coat pocket. Minor time saver throughout the run. There we go, put the minute hand in. We're gonna go get the second hand in this room that's filled with moss. The puzzle to actually figure out the combination is pretty cool, but the solution is the same every time. It's just 522, so go ahead and put that in. There we are. And James following a familiar pattern, James following, or I guess I'll say, picking up or doing the familiar pattern, just sticking his arms random things, and he happens to get a hand out of it. It's definitely gonna need a tetanus shot after this, for sure. Alright, so now we're going to put this last hand in. That'll finally open up the door to fight Pyramid Head. And Pyramid Head works a little differently from every other boss in the game. Because unlike every other boss in the game where they have a health bar that you deplete, it's kind of a similar thing here. Instead of health, he operates off of a 3-minute timer. And I'll get into the intricacies of that when the boss fight starts. I'll just go ahead and pick up that ammo. Just so we have some more for later. So the fight has started. I'm gonna bait him swinging. Gonna swing into him with the... Okay, wasn't expecting you to do that, sir. Guess that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to push like that. There we go, he's dead. So the way that fight works, like I said, his health is instead of like a 3-minute timer, they just gradually drain down by hitting him like that. And any hits you do on him reduces that timer by a fixed amount of time. And the amount that timer reduces depends on the weapon that you use to damage him. And the chainsaw does the most time damage, I guess, out of any weapon in the game. I believe it's like 30 seconds to hit, and it's a 3-second timer, so it takes 6 hits there to kill him. The most hits I think any boss takes in the game with the chainsaw. We'll fight Flesh Lips later, and I think he takes 5 hits if I'm remembering right. Or it might be 6, but I think pretty sure it's like 5 or 6. And also, when I was fighting him, I swung around to the other side of Pyramid Head, so that way when the fight ends, he's a bit closer to the door, because that cutscene there where he leaves, it does not start until Pyramid Head is close enough to the door. So by getting him closer to the door, it starts the cutscene sooner. So we'll go to the pier here to meet up with Maria. We are doing the unrestricted run, which is actually a category now. It's just a missed category on the leaderboards. We would do some low FPS memes to skip past this part, but that's obviously not safe for a marathon setting like this and not allowed for the category. So we'll just take a nice stroll with Maria instead.
Come on, let's go.
This place we're going to, what is it exactly?
It used to be kind of a special place for young couples in these parts. I think it's easier if I just show you.
I guess one small tech thing I can talk about here while we're running up to the next skip. Strafed there on accident, that's fine. So one small thing with the stair skips specifically, it kind of depends on the size of the stairs. So if it's really big stairs, like I was just going up there, it's worth it to do, but if it's like a really small set of stairs, it's generally not worth doing it on.
While we're heading to the spot, I know this is New Game Plus, so how different is New Game Plus from a traditional 90% New Game run or something like that?
Oh, very different. Obviously with New Game Plus, especially with the dog ending, you end up skipping the entire Otherworld section of the hotel. In New Game, speaking of the hotel, is a very different route. There's like an entire different skip you can do, relating to a separate skip we'll be seeing upcoming. That is not possible in New Game, again, because of that weird trigger thing I was talking about before, and I'll get to later on at the hotel. And also, obviously, you don't have the chainsaw, so you're having to manage ammo a lot more. And it's even tighter on setting a run like this, where you're skipping just a lot more of the game. You aren't able to get as much ammo. So that's the main difference. The breakouts are a bit different. Breakout routing is a bit different. Like right here with this next skip, I'd be able to go and do the breakout right away. But I have to take a quick detour there to get the second part of the dog key. I'm going to take a quick safety save here, because this next skip has potential to soft lock, and we haven't hit a checkpoint in a little bit because of the breakouts that we did before. So I just hit that save there for safety. Normally at this point we'd have to take a quick walk up to Heaven's Night, and then we'd move on to the hospital from there by going through the theater. But we can skip that walk through the town by doing this breakout. Oh. Let's do it that way. And there's a neat bit of menu we do here. because we need to combine the two items, or two parts of the donkey. So go ahead and do it in this menu while we're doing the breakout. So I can get something called map tech. And I'll explain that later because I need to concentrate on this first. We'll do an upright dodge there, and then I'll dodge to the right after we get that breakout. I'll put this in the shed here. I'll let deload so I can keep going. And then I'm going to run in distance here. I'm taking a specific line to make sure that the environment doesn't load in too quick, because, again, Unreal Engine shenanigans. And I'm looking for this like little divot in the ground, which I believe is the top of a pipe. There it is. Just use that to orient myself, and now we are in the garden. Don't have to go to Heaven's Night at all. And that has a funny side effect. Because we didn't do the Heaven's Night section, Maria isn't with us right now. We just didn't properly trigger her. So we're going to go up to this cutscene, and Maria just isn't there. Quickly as we hop through this window.
Yeah.
Also, dialogue line is muted. That's another side effect. Alright, so we're going to the theater. Theater's pretty straightforward, just taking optimal lines mostly. I was actually kind of upset at first, playing through this on my casual playthrough. Because in my casual playthrough, I was really hoping that they would have kept the infamous pizza line in. And I was sad that they didn't and put this in instead. But honestly, it's fine. Like, the way they characterized Laura and Eddie in the remake was really well done. And in general, I consider this Bloober Team's best work besides Observer. Shout out to Observer System Redux that recently got announced to be released on Switch 2. And also, of course, the Silent Hill 1 remake that they're currently working on. Shout out to Bloober in general. There is a skip I could do here involving a breakout on this ledge that I just hopped over. But I am not going to do it because it saves 5 seconds if I get a first try. But if I miss it, I lose 2 minutes. Because it's very easy doing that breakout to get stuck on the seats in the theater below. And the last checkpoint I got, or last autosave I got, was all the way back at the pier where I met Maria. So obviously it would have been a big time loss. There's not a good opportunity to save before then either, manually. Like, the last save point you really get before then is where I saved at the inn.
James, look.
So we'll go to the hospital now. Even in, like, the low FPS version, this area was, like, 5 minutes long if done fast. But with this route, it's actually closer to 3. Because we can skip a lot more of the hospital with breakouts. The first example of that is going to be right here. It's going to use that map tech technique that I kind of mentioned before. We call it map tech because we most commonly do it with a map like this. Basically, it's a breakout, but it kind of has 2 steps to it. We do one breakout, but in the middle of the breakout, we pull out an item. And that'll give James this weird state where he's kind of walking with the item in his hand. What that does is it lets us do a breakout, but without having to do all the fancy setup with the quick turns and all that. So it lets us do some more precise breakouts a little more easily. This breakout, however, it's more than just a breakout. It's because it's going to take the concept of a breakout and turn it on its head a little bit. So I'm going to break out right there, but while I'm in the middle of the breakout, pause to let the level deload. And now we're airwalking. Don't know why this happens, it's just a thing. Also, the nurses are Ghostface now. Again, minor details. And with this airwalk state, it's like my expecting airwalk to behave. It can walk through pretty much anything. You don't have to worry about gravity at all, much like a breakout. But there's one stipulation with it. Any interaction, like picking up an item, does not work. So for cases like this, where we need to pick up an item to do a puzzle later, we'll do similar to some of the out of bounds in the run. Let the level deload for a little bit while far enough away from the thing you want to interact with, and that'll let us do the interaction. That's kind of a core feature of these airwalks. Also, I like this pause in particular because as soon as we unpause here, we'll see Maria fall to her doom. There she goes. Goodbye, Maria. So by going far enough away, that'll let us pick up this dial so that we can do this puzzle. It's just behind this window. But the interaction for this pedestal here for the puzzle is broken too, so we have to do some more pausing here to let the interaction load in. It's about 13 seconds for each of these pauses, and then we can actually interact with the thing we want to. Alright, that should be good. There we go. If you're quick enough, you can interact with that pedestal behind the curtain, but it's a little tricky. Here we go. Just had to lock in with my inputs there because that puzzle requires a very specific combination, so I just had to be sure I didn't mess that up. So I'll do a quick checkpoint reload there, similar to what I did with the Key of Resilience and other little apartments. I also changed the FPS there just so I don't have to play at 30 FPS for the rest of Hospital. It's also just convenient to reload there in general because that airlock state that I was talking about, you have kind of janky movements while it's active, which makes just moving around in general kind of cumbersome. So we do that also for convenience, just so we don't have to deal with the weird movement. Alright, then we're going to go to the rooftop. We're going to read Pyramid Head's diary. But he's not too happy about that, so he's going to yeet us back to the 3rd floor. Now we're going to fight Flesh Lips, which has a really interesting AI manipulation kind of strat with it. First off, it needs to be at 60 FPS for it, which I already am. And as soon as the fight starts, there we go, there's an autosave. So go ahead and reload that. And that makes him behave a little better during this fight, because... hold on here. Gotta make sure I get the hits right. That should be good. Ah, I didn't quite get him. I have to wait for him to do this charge attack. There we go. So yeah, 5 or 6 hits to kill, like Pyramid Head earlier. The reason I reloaded there, like I said, it makes him behave a bit better. His whole gimmick, as you might be familiar with, is that he goes above the ceiling and then occasionally comes down. And when he comes down, that's when you can actually damage him. And by reloading there, makes his AI behave such that he comes down a lot more often. So it just makes that fight easier to deal with. Ideally, you get him before he does that charge attack, but the timing is a little tight. Alright. So similar to earlier in the other world apartments, there's a whole series of puzzles we'd have to do to get out of here. But of course we're not about that, so we're going to do another breakout to basically get right to the lobby and skip this whole sequence. It does, again, have soft lock potential, so I did a quick safety manual save there. Count very specifically just so I don't mess this up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hold right just to make sure I don't slip into that room that's to my left, otherwise I get soft locked. And there we go, we're at the entrance of the hospital. Not to do any puzzles or anything, definitely not losing Maria, at least not in this playthrough. And we are out of here. I am going to take a small detour though. I'm going to go right here and hit that trigger. You might have noticed the game hitch very briefly there. That's just to load in this, the Otherworld streets. Because otherwise this area would just be big black void because we didn't hit the load trigger for it. Now I'll be going to probably the single longest running section in the game. Because there is just like 10 minutes of running that we have to do here. I'm gonna avoid hitting that flying figure and hope it doesn't bite me in the butt, because it has in the past. We'll see what happens. The idea is I'm going to stay on the edge of the room here. Hopefully that line figure doesn't get in here. Okay. In the past, I've had that line figure attack me as I get to that crawl space. But apparently it's an FPS thing, which I only learned recently. I didn't quite get it. So I was trying to do a bit of AI manipulation there. That mannequin I just killed, if you let go of run for a split second as you're running through this room, it kind of de-aggroes a little bit. And he's ideally hides under a bit of scaffolding that we just ran past, but unfortunately I didn't get it. I mistimed it a little bit, but that's fine. It's like a very small time waste going out the way to kill him. So yeah, Otherworld Streets is a very straightforward area. As far as skips go, unless this nurse decides to grab me. Hello? Rude. Like I was saying, it's a very straightforward area for the most part, besides all that chaos that just happened. Because it's just a lot of running, not really anything you can do to skip things. There is an FPS abuse, which is what we call the low FPS strat, that we could do here to skip all of this, but again, much like the Maria skip earlier at the pier, it's very difficult. Believe me, I've tried it, and not very marathon setting friendly, so let's take a run through here. There are some small breakouts you can do throughout this whole section, but keeping in mind what I said about breakouts being a double-edged sword, that's very much the case with this section, because if you're not careful, you can soft lock. And I believe the last autosave you get, at least for a while, is when we left the hospital earlier. So just gotta be very careful about that.
Where did she go?
Alright, so we're going to the diner here. That's a small break I'm going to do here just to save a couple seconds. Two dodges to the left, that'll put me in the diner next to this nurse. Okay, there's another mannequin here that I'll try to pick us, we'll dodge out of the way. That's like this shot of the mannequin walking by into the light in the alley. Nice aesthetic there. One time when I was doing an online marathon run, I believe it was last December, if I'm remembering right, somewhere around there, I did a breakout on accident. On that ledge I just hopped over, soft locked, and lost 4 minutes, and went over estimate. So hooray for not going over estimate, hopefully anyway. Because we have some pretty tough skips coming up. Quick shortcut here through this diner, just a minor optimization. I didn't mention them the first time we saw them, but we'll encounter mandarins for the first time here. Don't worry about it, these mandarins are fake. You do have to be kind of quick when moving through the tunnel though, because as you'll hear right here. There we go, there's that little scream that they do. And if you're too close to them when that scream happens, you'll get stunned and forced to move backwards for a second or two. Which may or may not become relevant for a certain enemy encounter with those mandarins later. And we've made our way to the graveyard. We have the wrench that we used to get through that gate a second ago. And we'll get the key here that we'll use to get into the Historical Society, which we won't be in for long. Don't know why I dodged there. Which we won't be in for long. We'll get into the prison right after that. And the prison is the scariest part of the run by far. Also, the sliding situation is kind of weird because Angel's hair looks blonde for a quick second there going into the cutscene, but then it changes to its actual color during the cutscene. It's a weird lighting thing. But yeah, the prison. It's the scariest part of the run by far, regardless of which category you're running. Restricted, any percent, New Game Plus, New Game, doesn't matter. And even in unrestricted, or restricted, I mean, for different reasons, it's very scary. For any percent in unrestricted, in particular, it is home to the biggest skip in the game. It's called Prison Skip, I believe, is the colloquial term for it. It's a series of 3 breakouts, and also a sequence of dodges out of bounds to skip all the prison, the abstract daddy fight, yes, that fight, and all the labyrinth, all in one sequence. And it saves 28 minutes, which is the biggest time-saving skip in the entire run, and it's not even close. Not even close. But there's a trade-off with it, because obviously there's 3 breakouts you have to do in a row, like I said. And all of them are very difficult with potential for soft blocks. So if there's any point in the run where I'm going to mess these up a ton, it's going to be here. And generally when we get here, this is a pretty... or for runs that get here, it's a pretty big reset point. Besides, of course, the intro. So we're just going to cross our fingers, hope the breakouts go well. And there's also the Eddie fight, too. After that, which can be a little annoying. And we're gonna go do some dodges down these stairs. Much like I'm doing with every other bit of stairs in the game, but for a lot longer this time, because these are the longest staircases on planet Earth. Similar to the original, of course. There's actually, speaking of dodges, there's actually a bit of tech you can do with the dodges. If you're running on New Game, even in Restricted, especially in Restricted, you can do a swing with a melee weapon, like the plank that we skipped at the beginning, or the pipe, which we also skipped. Then after that, you do a dodge that lets you carry the momentum from the initial swing, so you can move forward a bit faster overall. And if you do it optimally, it saves, I think, 20 seconds over the course of the whole run, which for a run as optimized as this is definitely worth it. New Game Plus a little less so. Because for one, you'd have to go out of your way to get the pipe, which is already a time waste. But also it would waste a lot of time in menuing, because obviously you want the chainsaw for most of your combat in the run, but you also want to use the pipe for the dash tech that I just described. So you'd have to, whenever you're doing a bit of dash tech, switch to the pipe, or whatever melee weapon you're using, and then once you're done with that little movement section, switch back to the chainsaw, which is a lot of menuing, and just ends up negating all the time you'd save by doing the dash tech. So it's just generally not worth it to do a New Game Plus, which is nice, you know, makes doing the movement a lot simpler. Alright, we're going to open the first wall on our right here, which is this brick wall here. And then we're going to do probably the most infamous part of this whole game, if you're in terms of RNG. If you're familiar with OG, it's the same case here, the bug room puzzle. There's a 3-digit code we have to enter, and it can be any combination of 2, 3, and 9. So let's see what we get here. Oh my god, first try. That is a rare sight. Alright, well that's a good sign for the rest of the run. Let's go. I was not expecting that, because like that can seriously go so many different ways. Because like I said, it's a 3-digit combination, any orientation of 2, 3, and 9, so it could have been there for a lot longer than however long that was. With that out of the way, we have the actual hardest part of the run in terms of execution, which is the prison skip I was hyping up earlier. And of course it is very difficult, so I will be making this save before it. There we go. So I'll go into the cell blocks here. Do the first of 3 breakouts here. So let me go into these stairs coming up, and to get the weights if you're familiar with this area normally. The orientation looks kind of weird, but that should be okay. There we go, made it. We're a little close to the door, but we're still fine. And go to the second floor of the cell block. Do another breakout here next to these showers. This one's the tightest of the 3, so let's see how this goes. I have an angle for it to make it a bit easier. Ooh, first try, that's good. Okay, that's the hardest breakout in the entire run for me, so it's good that I got that first try. And then we'll go next to that crawling hole there. That will give us a checkpoint that we'll reload off of. I'm also going to go ahead and turn on high contrast mode. That'll make James a bit easier to see during this next breakout, because this area is very dark, as you can see, so it'll just help us see James a bit easier. We'll do some map tech here with this letter, just to make this breakout a lot easier. It's pretty much required to do this, actually. Set this up very precisely. There we go. We'll do some upright dodges, and we want to dodge to the right here. As soon as the camera changes like that, and I'll slip by onto this bit of collision out of bounds here. Where this actually is relative to the rest of the map, it's just outside the courtyard where the scale puzzle is, and the arsonist puzzle if you play it normally. But we're not here to actually do the puzzle. We're here to go over to the other side of the courtyard, because we want to go to this divot in the wall right here. And there we go. We just hit that divot. That'll hit a load trigger that loads the rest of the labyrinth in for later, for the next part of the skip. And this, while I am pretty consistent at it, is probably the scariest part of the skip as a viewer, because we have to do a very specific amount of dodges here. And when I mean very specific, I mean very specific. I'll be setting up my camera right here. I need to be very careful to not move my camera a single inch during that whole process. Otherwise, the angle will be messed up and I won't make it. We have to do 34 dodges here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Do one more dodge to the right. This is Silent Hill 2 Remake, where you learn how to count. And we should see the stairs appear here just below me. Perfect, alright. So, like I was saying earlier, that skips all the prison, the abstractality fight, and all the labyrinth. Massive skip, and very difficult to do. It took a lot of practice to get that right, trust me. Like, I practiced that a bunch when the skip was first found back in April of last year, and I had the biggest pop-off ever when I got it for the first time, understandably so. And that's the cool stuff you can do with breakouts in this game. But anyways, we'll be starting the Eddie fight now. I'm going to do some more graphics switching here. I'm going to turn off high contrast mode. Can't change graphics mode for some reason. That's weird. Oh, it's because I still have it turned on for some reason. There we go. So I'm going to turn off high contrast mode and then turn on outline plus posterize for the graphics mode. So we'll make the game have a cell shading style, like it's Borderlands all of a sudden. This gets rid of the fog in the meat locker here, so it's easier to see Eddie. And it's easier to see where he is, so we can line up these chainsaw hits. Because the chainsaw has a pretty short range, which makes getting hits on Eddie very difficult, so... getting rid of the fog with outline plus posterize makes this fight a lot easier. That being said, the fight isn't easy still. Because Eddie, if you know Eddie from this game, maybe even in the OG, I don't exactly know how the OG fight works. He is a sprinter. He really runs for it, so we have to be kind of quick here. It's over here, that's annoying. And this third phase is even more difficult because now the meat bags are moving around, which makes it even harder to hit him. Very solid Eddie, all things considered. That was really good. If you're not quick enough with those dodges, when he has the Magnum up, he can like really take away a lot of your health, but thankfully he didn't manage that this time. You also have to be kind of careful with the Outline plus Posterize mode, because if you reload too many times with the Outline plus Posterize graphics mode enabled, you can have the game crash. I've had that happen a lot when practicing Prison Skip, and it's definitely annoying when it does happen. Nice POV there. So anyways, I'll be taking the boat to get to the hotel. There is kind of a strat to this, but I generally just kind of wing it. You can see this light above James's head. I generally try to keep that light, which I believe is the spotlight of a lighthouse, in the center of this, in the relative center of the screen, as kind of a North Star to know where I'm going. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Really not much going on here, so if there's any plugs at all that you want to make, this would be a good time to do so until we get to the hotel.
It's a nice boat ride, huh?
Yep. I mean, you never know. Deltarune Chapter 5 could have a boat ride.
Oh, yeah.
Silent Hill 2 Remake may have predicted it early. Who knows? It's coming out soon, too. It's in a couple weeks. Alright, so we're just about at the end of the boat right there. When the fog lights up like that and clears a little bit, that's how we know we're at the end. And now we're at the hotel, the final area of the game. Well, technically it's not the final one if you're playing New Game, but we're playing on New Game Plus, so it is for our purposes. And hotel is interesting for a speedrun, because even in the previous route, and even in the restricted route nowadays, there's already like many different ways that you can route this area, which is kind of dependent on routing your item disposal in the maintenance elevator. But breakouts open up the routing for this chapter or area exponentially so. And I hinted earlier towards the route difference between New Game and New Game Plus when Eck was asking about that earlier. Hotel is where the main big difference is. Because in the hotel in New Game, there is an airwalk glitch that you can do, similar to what we did in the hospital earlier. And you cannot do it on New Game Plus, because for some reason, I don't know exactly how it works, but there seems to be an extra trigger they need to activate for the two New Game Plus endings that you can get here to be active. And unfortunately, we can't activate that if we do the airwalk, so... Fortunately, no airwalk for us in New Game Plus, so we do have some breakout trickery that we'll be doing later on once we get one of the figurines. Of course, this area is based around getting 3 figurines. The first one we'll be going for is on floor 2. So I'll go ahead and grab that. So that's why I went into that side room there. I grabbed the Sunrise Wing Key. That'll let us actually access the second floor. Then we'll grab the apple and the key to room 202 to do the mirror puzzle there. And then we'll do the breakout, which we need to do some more traversal after this next puzzle. Let's actually go ahead and do. Grab the apple here. Don't need to go into the side room to grab the apple in that room to do the next puzzle. Just go ahead and grab that apple. There are some mannequins there, but we move through the rooms so quickly we can just kind of ignore them. Orientation of the flash darts are kind of random, but it's usually not too bad to reorient them. Put the outline right after, and I'll get us our first figurine. Slime figure here just tends to lunge at us like that, so we'll just do a dodge to get past him. You can also be kind of rude, like that, and block the door as I get out, but we got past him okay. Hi, sir. Thank you for that, I guess. Came out of nowhere. Thanks for that. That's fine. We have plenty of healing, so even if I took a lot of damage from that, or even other enemies later, I would have been able to deal with it. So we'll make our way to the conference room. Need to grab a couple of items for later puzzles. Also going to go ahead and kill this nurse right here, because I'll be doing a breakout in the nurse's station right there, so I just want her to not be in my way when I go back there later. And normally you'd have to take the maintenance puzzle, or maintenance elevator, I mean, to get to the basement. We're going to do a breakout to get there instead, just to avoid having to dispose our items, and also do a couple of puzzles in the basement as well. But before I do that, I'm going to do another safety save, because we have to do 2 breakouts right after another, kind of similar to the prison skip that we did earlier. It's a really tight timing for this one in particular. Like for the one in the basement I'll be doing once we get there, you have to be really quick with the draw on the inputs for it, so just make a quick save there, just in case. Alright, so the first breakout is right here, so let's get to the basement. Notch out of the way so I don't get stuck on that pipe. And this timing for this one is really tight, so let's see. Oh, almost. So I was a little, I guess, a bit late on the timing, because I ended up clipped inside the wall just behind the bar. Retry that. If I did not make that safety save, the last save I would have gotten was when I completed the figurine puzzle all the way back in room 202. So I would have had to run all the way back there and then retry it. Obviously is a big time waste. Ooh, that's an odd angle, but we'll make it work. Perfect, okay. Alright, let's see here. Come on. Work with me, I'll say. Ooh, okay, got second try, perfect. So let's get right in the bar, not have to deal with any mandarins in the basement, if you're familiar with the game. I'll take the figurine and get out of here. So that leaves just one last figurine left to grab. It's in the conference room on the 3rd floor. I have to take a quick side quest here to room 107 to grab it. There we go, that's the key to let's get in the fireplace. Oh, come on. Oh, hi Ghostface, how you doing? Always catches me off guard with some of these mods. Alright, so we'll go to the conference room. Gonna try to get the 3rd figurine. But after we try to grab this figurine, a mandarin is going to spawn, and we're kind of intended to kill it and then leave the room. But we're going to try to do a pretty ridiculous strat involving breakouts to actually leave the room early and not to fight the Mandarin. It's pretty involved here, so hopefully I don't mess it up. Alright. So I'm gonna push this closet away. There we go. I'm gonna break this open twice. Dodge, because the Mandarin's gonna attack me. Okay, dodge out of sync. Not what I was prepared for, but that's fine. Rude. Okay, the Mandarin misbehaved there, but I got it anyway. So letting me get out of the room without having to fight the Mandarin right there. In the restricted run, we would do a strat, and even in old strats, we would do a strat where we get rid of all of our weapons when going to the basement, and then the gap there would be broken open already. But we don't have to deal with that in this case. And we wouldn't be able to do that strat anyway, because we have our weapons. Also, I'm going to go ahead and grab the ornamental key there to open the music box, because I forgot to grab that earlier. All those figurines in the right spots with a very simple combination. Surprisingly simple combination too, given this is on hard difficulty. But I guess that's just how hard difficulty be. Alright, that'll give us the key to go to the 3rd floor, or at least the rest of the 3rd floor. And if we were playing a new game, we would go and fight Maria in the double pyramid head fight in the other hotel. But over here, we're just going to go straight for the Doge ending that you're all familiar with. And time is going to be when that cutscene starts. Very soon. And time. Sub hour IGT, that was pretty good.
GG.
Yeah. We'll see I guess the ending to Deltarune Chapter 5. Don't know how many of it involves, but we'll roll with it.
Fuck shit. It's the I guess the canon, the upcoming one, right?
Exactly. Also, a little fun fact for those that maybe haven't seen the game before. Also, the close-up is so good. A little fun fact about this cutscene. This voice acting that you're hearing James do is actually Polish. It's kind of it's a play on the original's dog ending where it was in Japanese, but obviously it's a Polish developer here in Blooper Team, so get some nice Polish dialogue there.
The only thing I was bummed out about with this ending is that in the credits they didn't have the blooper reel.
I know, that's so annoying, but you know, it happens. I heard that the UFO ending is interesting in the remake. I haven't actually seen footage of it.
It's fun. It's a good one. All right, that is Sonal 2. Really quick, if anyone wanted to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so twitch.tv/N3RE_squared. I speedrun a bunch of weird horror and indie stuff like this. And also just do a bunch of like challenge run content. Most recently I've been doing like some FPS games like Call of Duty on Veteran, just as an example. Also I do lots of weird niche challenge / speedrun stuff like that. So if you want niche games or you want to see me suffer on hard difficulties in games, you know where to go.
All right. Before we do hop on to our next run, anything else you'd like to say or anything you would like to, like any shout outs or anything?
Yeah, I just want to real quickly shout out the next runner that'll be coming after me, good old Ed the Rando running Silent Hill 1. If you have not seen this run, you're definitely going to want to stick around because Ed the Rando, I guess minor spoiler here, he's the one that actually discovered the glitch that you're hopefully going to see him do in the run, and it's wild. You'll definitely want to stick around for that.
All right. Thank you once again for that run of Silent Hill 2. It is fun to see just how broken that game can get. Once again, if you
yeah.
once again, if you did enjoy that run of Silent Hill 2 and you like Nerd Squared, you can check out their stuff at twitch.tv/n3rt_squared or Nerd Squared, to put it more there. So the link should be in chat and all that, so you can find them there, which should be good. As well, before we go to our next run, just as a quick heads up, GDQ Hotfix is looking for non-binary speedrunners to showcase during our International Non-Binary People's Day celebration on July 18th and 19th. If you're interested in participating, you can submit your runs by typing !non-binary. All right, everyone, welcome back from the, the break. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Just as a quick heads up before we do hop into the next run, the run of Silent Hill 1, we did end up having a PC crash. We'll be testing out the PC right now. We have the runner testing it out. Hopefully it shall be good. If it is, we'll be having it after this upcoming run as a heads up. If not, we'll probably have it on the next show. So we'll keep you updated on the Silent Hill 1 run. I also do want to, say a special thank you for our next crew of runners and commentators for, just being able to show up a little bit earlier, just because, it does help quite a lot for the show here. Anyway, in line with Silent Hill and Silent Hill games, recently we did get a new Silent Hill game that is pretty exciting. If you have not seen it, it is a nice kind of expansion upon the series, and it's honestly just pretty damn cool if you ask me. Up next, we're going to be having Silent Hill F, New Game Plus Casual with Pandemonium. Take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Pandemonium, and this will be Silent Hill F. We are playing New Game Plus Casual, where we get the 4th ending, the quote-unquote best ending, and yeah, if my commentators would like to introduce themselves.
I am Spin Their Yarns. I'm a casual horror game enjoyer. I really love this game. I think it's super cool, and I just like talking about it, so.
Hey, I'm Garlic. I do speedrun this game, actually the same category, and it's a lot of fun. I really like the run. It's actually pretty chill in a lot of ways, but yeah, I'm really excited.
And I'm Dubious. I actually don't run this game, and I've still not completed it casually, so don't worry about it.
That's okay. Totally okay. Alright, time is gonna start after I skip the first cutscene, so I'll count down. And we're gonna be the rabbit. We're always the rabbit. Don't worry about it. Alright, time will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
It's funny that we're always the rabbit, because there is a girl in this game who's obsessed with rabbits, and it isn't us.
Yes.
But yeah, we're running down a hill. It's very exciting, as you can see. I will say the setting for this game is very beautiful. It has a great atmosphere. It's just chef's kiss. Very good.
Now, this is based on a real-life historical tourist town in Japan, which is a very nice place with, like, hot springs and is not creepy at all, so they did a really nice job with this.
Also, part of the fun of this game is getting your PC to run the game.
Oh my god.
So you'll see pretty often the frame rate will just dip because reasons, I don't know.
This is actually one of the games that finally prodded me into getting a PS5.
Funny enough, I do have the PS5 version. I'm just like not looking forward to doing everything again to set up New Game Plus.
Yeah, because it seems like it takes a while, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It took
Oh, yeah, I
me
was
about
gonna say, like, towards the start of the run, your FPS was like
Yeah.
49.
I was just like, oh, okay. That's
So it's
cool.
been-
I was just gonna say it took me like 45 or 50 hours to get all the endings on PC, counting the time with technical difficulties, so it wasn't too bad, honestly.
Yeah, getting all the like basically all the omamori, the charms that you can use, is what took a lot of time for me. Because I had to do a lot of playthroughs to get enough like faith, which is the currency in this game. Because you draw a bunch of the charms basically through like gacha. But the cool thing is there's no repeats, unlike something like you know, RE4 remake. So you'll always get one that you don't have, which is nice at least.
Thankfully, I'm a trained professional at playing a game at 1 FPS because I also speedrun Yakuza Dead Souls, so don't worry, we'll be okay.
What a caliber of runs, huh?
Yep.
So why Dead Souls?
Why? I don't have an answer for you.
There.
It's such a good run.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, as someone who does actually run Dead Souls, just like, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, like
That's
as a
interesting.
run, yeah, Dead Souls is like interesting, and there's a lot going on in it. This game is just busted to heck.
My favorite part about that game is the what you have to buy the digital version to save 15 real minutes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
being
whenever
on the
it
PS3
gets,
super
like-
slim.
Yeah, whenever the PS3 store finally goes down, then I don't know, rip, I guess.
I mean, it runs like 60 to 80 bucks used, so it could be worse, you know.
True.
It's not good, but it could be worse. Anyway, this is not Yakuza Dead Souls.
So for context, you might have seen me go into the inventory and I threw the pills away. That's important because we do not want to take the pills. That will lock us into the first ending. Even if you take just one, you basically can only get the first ending. I don't normally throw them away, but Spin likes it when I throw them away.
It stresses me out. It stresses me out. You just gambling with your life there, keeping them in inventory for an hour.
I just like to live life dangerously.
I mean, it makes sense to me not to throw them out on a PB attempt because that is wasted menu time, but for this one, it's like, oh, well, it's a marathon setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably want to make sure you don't accidentally take them.
Yeah, for a marathon, yeah. Definitely makes sense. But yeah, we'll have 2 other requirements later on that I'll also have to do to lock us into that ending. But that will be much later. For now, we just need to get out of here and fight the frame rate, I guess. You'll even notice some speedrunners for this game will like turn the fog off, and it looks really, really weird to me. I don't know, I can't do it, but it does make the game run better, technically.
Yeah, I had to put potato settings on mine, and I haven't done a full run yet, so I don't even know if it's gonna help the whole way through.
Alright, we got our kitchen knife. This kitchen knife is very important. We'll basically have it pretty much the entire run. We'll pick up another one, but the kitchen knife in this game is absolutely busted. It is very good. The only downside is that it doesn't have a lot of durability. So I just picked up a toolkit. You can use those to repair your weapons. Thankfully, we don't need too many of those. Alright, and that's chapter 1. Also, you saw Hinako with the pipe, which we do not have, but yeah, don't worry about it. Also, this is our first visit to the Dark Shrine, which would be like, I guess, the nightmare side, I guess, of normal Silent Hill when you hear the siren. This would be the equivalent.
That you're gonna see we'll be flipping back and forth to here for alternating chapters for the whole game, and we have kind of a different system over here with weapons that you're gonna see. Where we're gonna kind of get a scripted series of stuff instead of picking things up and having to worry about durability. Also, this is Fox Mask, and his job is to keep showing up and telling us to follow him somewhere important, and then he disappears immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Very
not very
helpful.
polite.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in New Game you actually have to do, you have to do a lot more stuff here. We're actually skipping all of it because we already know the combination to the door we're about to go to. So we can just go up to it, put it in, and leave, basically. Which is really nice because this area is kind of a pain on New Game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
And you'll see why in a moment.
Wait, I never noticed. Does Stompy actually appear here?
Yes, this is his introduction.
Okay. I think it's just because of how kind of quick-ish you go through it in New Game Plus that I didn't notice him right off. But yeah, he follows you around consistently when you're trying to grab stuff in a standard New Game, so it's really annoying just having to be like, okay, is he around? Yes? No? Maybe?
Yeah, these guys are called, they're called Irohihi, but, I call them Stompy, because that's all you hear whenever they're chasing you is stomp, 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 stomp. But yeah, we're back in Ebisugaoka. That is the town that Hinako lives in. And our goal right now is to get to Rinko's house. That's our friend. Because I guess that would be safe from all of this. I guess, somehow.
Yeah, we got separated from our friends and we're trying to figure out where they would have gone.
But yeah, there's a lot of mannequins through here, and a lot of them have fixed grabbies like that.
No.
That was actually what I was gonna comment on right before this. I was gonna say, the only worry with the FPS dropping is that, you would have to react a lot sooner to things than you normally would.
And the grab animations in this game are really long, as you saw. It takes a few seconds for her to get grabbed, and then after she gets let go, it takes another few seconds for her to recover.
Yeah, and there's no way out of it. You just have to, you just get to sit there and watch it. Also, this is the Abare. He's a very large guy. And since we're playing on casual, as you see, I'm just tanking his hits. We're pretty safe. I don't really think there's a way he can kill you unless you just like completely sit here. You are in danger on every other difficulty though, even story difficulty, which was the default like easy difficulty originally. There was an update that added casual, which is what we're playing on right now, which is a very good update in my opinion because I don't feel like their original story difficulty was a true easy, so I'm glad they made that update.
I didn't think so either, because I started out playing on story, and I believe my opinion on it was I don't think anybody who designed this has ever actually been bad at a video game in their life.
Yeah, it felt like a more just standard difficulty, not easy. Or it feels like more standard.
Yeah, so we have these scarecrows, and the way this puzzle works is you talk to the actual scarecrow at the beginning, and he gives you a riddle, and then you solve the riddle basically by going up to the correct mannequin you think it is and pulling out the pin. And if you pull the right one, you will get this response, which is basically they will move and point to the direction you go next. If you pull the wrong pin, they will immediately fight you. And it's kind of fun, if I'm being honest. Like, I've basically purposely like triggered all of them, and then they can all chase you around at the same time if you want. I don't know. You can have fun with it, I guess. For why? I don't know. I get bored. I guess. I don't have an answer for you.
I definitely did that on one where I just gave up on the riddle, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hit everybody until one of them works. Which yeah, I'm not the only person who's done that.
I had one like that too. I think that's probably what started it, and I was like, you know what, fine, I'm just gonna... let's have everyone come. Also, apparently, this does work, looking at the... you can look at the ground. Like I said, I'm a professional. Like, when you play Dead Souls, you just look at the ground the whole time. It's like GoldenEye.
I was just about to ask, like, oh, just like Dead Souls?
Yep.
You can mess yourself up looking at the ground here too, because a lot of the time the line it wants you to take is just a little bit off on the angle from these rows of plants, so it's very easy to kind of tilt a little one way or the other and then miss the next section completely. Which is very evil of them, and I respect it.
Yeah. You kind of have to go off landmarks, which is like, yes, I understand. You're probably like, what? Everything looks the same. Yes. Exactly. You have to literally know each rock. It's that silly. You have to know what the rocks look like, the stick, there's hay bales. Like, yeah, you have to remember a lot of weird things.
Yeah, I think in my notes I just put like, go by the giant branch.
Yeah. Like, as soon as you start, there's a log, then there's like a weird branch, and then there will be some hay bales, and then there's like a weird like hay stack that isn't baled, and then pretty much from there you can just go straight, and you should notice the scarecrow by then. Also doesn't help for all of them, but some of them you can actually see the gleam off of their, the sickles they carry. So you can just follow the sickle. Like, you won't see anything else in the fog, but you'll just see something, like, shiny. But yeah, as you can see, we're back in the Dark Shrine. Ooh.
Hinako wanted to forget how to use it.
I know, I was like, do you know? It's like, you're right, I also don't want to open the door.
That, like, dipping in the area and then just immediately leaving always makes me laugh because
yeah.
the game wants you to look at, like, Hinako's childhood doll that is basically there to, like, warn you to not trust the fox mask.
Yeah, but funny enough, the story flag is actually just going under that thing, so you just go under it and then you go right back. Yeah, because this game does have a lot of story flags that need to be triggered to continue. Which will come up a little bit later. Because we do have one out of bounds that we there's actually like a mini version, which is what we'll be doing, and then there's a full version. The full version can only be done in UFO though, so, but yeah, we'll explain that when we get there. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of mannequin ladies chasing us now, but we're gonna ignore all of them. Though sometimes they'll do stuff like this or just stand in your way, but yeah. On casual, you can pretty much tank their hits. You can even do that on story, and even Lost in the Fog if you're feeling, I don't know, spicy. Getting grabbed though on Lost in the Fog is very, very bad. Like, if you're not at full health, you can basically just die from the grab. Yeah, see, like, normally, like, if you're playing on, like, Lost in the Fog, you would be dodging and stuff from these hits, and we're just going.
Yeah, on Lost in the Fog, these do, what, like a third or half of your health?
Yeah, it's a lot. And then it's even worse because you take the sanity damage first, since we have Tanuki on. Yeah, I guess that's not something we mentioned, but yeah, there's 3 bars. We have a actual health bar, stamina bar, and sanity. Sanity is at the top, health is in the middle, and then stamina is at the bottom. So the sanity comes into play mainly with, like, there's like charge skill you can do, like charge attacks. Those use up sanity. Dodging uses up stamina. Anytime you dodge when enemies are present, you will use stamina. And you see it draining, yeah, when you run when enemies are present, it also drains stamina. I guess that was their way of trying to get the player to not just like run from everything, I guess.
And then they decide to give you an item anyway, that once you eat it, it keeps your stamina full for like... It's not 3 minutes, is it?
It's like a minute or so. I'm not actually sure how long it is. But yeah, this is Sakuko. This is our first boss fight. Very important to beat her in one cycle like this. She has like she has a bunch of weird phases after this one. And they're kind of a bit forced, so like you just have to do them. They're gonna happen regardless of if you want them to or not. So it's better if you just get rid of her immediately. The way we do that on casual is you can just run right up to her, you don't even dodge, you just hit her. I like to hit her 4 times, and then I'll do 1 perfect dodge, whichever attack she does, and then usually it can be 5 or 6 hits. And the reason why I say 5 or 6 hits is because the way damage is calculated in this game is really interesting. Like it calculates, I think it like takes into account like what limb of an enemy you hit, like where you hit them, like front, back, side, what weapon, the angle, like I don't know what the weather is that day. I'm not even sure at this point anymore.
Probably.
Also, this is funny because I was speedrunning this yesterday on stream and it was fine. I guess this is what I get for... I restarted my computer because I thought that would be helpful, but apparently no, that was not helpful. So, my bad, I guess.
It looks normal to me because I'm always at like 45 FPS on this game.
Oh no. So yeah, here is their out of balance. Oh, go ahead, Doobie.
No, I was just gonna say I can kind of tell it's choppy, not just because of seeing the thing at the bottom, but also because I have it on PS5 where it just stays at 60.
Alright, so this is the out of bounds. This is actually the new way to do this. Figured I would try doing this. Oh, there we go, but I fell off. Okay, I'll do one more, and then if I can't do it, I'll just walk around, but... Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yay.
Is the attack just to push you into position?
Yeah, I think it makes her like squeeze through the like boundary just a bit so she can walk along the wall. But yeah, so for context, the way you would do that before is you like kind of turn against the house and you have to dodge like sideways twice while wiggling the stick, and that basically gets you through the same like area I was just getting through. That sounds really complicated, it is, but since I've done that way so long, that way is just easier to me. But I actually learned the way I just did it last night, so I was like, yeah, let's just try it. But yeah, I'm glad for everyone learning the run going forward, because I think that's a lot easier. Oh, she's not going to attack me. Okay, there we go. That lady's kind of a pain. I don't know. I've watched like runners deal with her all kinds of ways. I like to wait for her to attack, and then as soon as she like is about to drop her knife, that's when you dodge forward and you just go right through her. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. As you saw, she just doesn't attack and just stands there. I saw an interesting a version of it yesterday that I'd never seen before. Somebody like goes, when they don't go on the bridge, they just go like all the way to the side, I guess to kind of coax them out of the bridge, and then they go, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting way. I'm curious if
is that faster though?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering. Alright, I'm gonna get a few more items than I normally do, since we would like to actually finish the game. Imagine finishing the game.
I love how much of this game you spend like poking around in other people's houses.
But yeah.
Like, this map is so dense, and I would love if this game just had an exploration mode where you could just root around in everybody's houses for a while without things trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting.
That's what makes that, like, the very beginning of the game, before any of the enemies are introduced, there's, like, a house off to the side. You can't... I don't think you can explore it in New Game, but in New Game Plus, you can. It's really interesting to just, like, poke around and look at everything, and you can and not be bothered, which is really nice. But yeah, I feel like that's like the only place you can be. Alright, leave me alone, thank you. Yeah, as you can hear him stomping behind me.
He's just so excited to
He's so excited. Also, I don't remember the Twizzler sauce guy's name.
Oh, I actually don't either.
His name is Twizzler Sauce Guy now.
Yeah.
Maxie ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, so for context, he like spits up this like red liquid that Maxie Lobes apparently called Twizzler sauce once, and then now it just stuck. So now it's just Twizzler sauce. And then the reason why Twizzlers is because there's like little tentacle things that come up out of that sauce. So yeah, you're welcome, I guess.
I was actually about to ask, because I have your notes up. Is it called the Corruptor?
Thank you.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yes. I wrote all of their actual names in there for everybody, and then I'm like, I don't even remember what I wrote.
It's another area that's really chill on New Game Plus, especially because we don't have to really do any puzzles here at all. You're actually normally here in New Game for like quite a while, doing multiple puzzles to get everything you need. But here we just have to open a locker to get a key and then get another key.
Yeah. I can see people who've played the game and maybe haven't done New Game Plus yet, or maybe they didn't even realize that you could do that in New Game Plus. Yeah. You just go in, go to the locker, put the combo in, get the key, get another key, leave, like Garlic said. And that's it.
Whereas in New Game you have to like get I think it's you get the key to a drawer to get a key to the locker room to get a key to the other thing, and you do also get like you get a lot of the lore in the school from having to run around a lot, but
also, anyone want to explain Hinako's appearance now?
Don't worry about it. That's a good explanation, right?
this is a ritual that in New Game we would have done in a later chapter where Hinako made a bunch of kind of violent changes to her own body. And once you've done all of that the long way around in New Game, it's like the school, you get all of this earlier in a cutscene when you're doing New Game Plus. But we have a fox arm now, and we have this mask that has actually replaced our actual face, and we have this seal branded into our back, and all of these are giving Hinako abilities that she didn't have before.
They're being really aggressive for casual.
Yeah, I was actually surprised they didn't follow me. I don't know what happened, I guess. Bingo. I was getting kind of worried. So that part there is a bottleneck, and there's not really anything you can do about it. Like, sometimes the enemies will bottleneck there for, well, no good reason. And if that happens, your run's basically dead. Can you pick the thing up? Thank you. Also, yeah, that's actually a good point to mention this. So, you have to look at things for Hinako to pick them up. You can't do any, like, cool off-screen shenanigans like you can in some games. Nope, you have to look at it and see the prompt. That was weird. The doll was in the way.
What is going on?
I thought they put me like out of bounds or something. I was like, what is going on? Extra curse mode. So yes, that is one side. We have one more side to do to open this door. And for this part, you can actually do either side first. It really doesn't matter. I like to do the right side first, because that tends to be the more difficult side, and I have Lost in the Fog brain, so... Basically, if you just get the hard part out first, then you can use this part to heal if you have like a T, because the T heals over time. Also, yeah, these are totally normal dolls. This is also a puzzle, though it's not really much of a puzzle because you just have to flip over the three dolls, and whichever the third doll is that you turn around, that's the one that will have the crest that we just picked up. Which, do not leave the room without the crest. I've never done that, so...
Neither have I, not even once.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you do, you get a cool walk of shame all the way back to the room to go get it, because the game is nice to you and like teleports you out, but in doing so, you can't just turn around and go back. You have to go all the way. You have to go the same way you came in. Alright, she's...
Yeah, I don't think I actually did that here. I think I did it in a later chapter that also required a lot of backtracking. But I don't recommend it, regardless.
Also, you can kind of hear the enemies like will follow me up to the doors, and the doors will always like slam shut behind me, and the enemies don't follow me in. Don't be fooled by that. Most of the time that works as intended, but they can sometimes end up following you in when they're not supposed to, so just something to be aware of. Sometimes they end up where they're not supposed to be. But yeah, for context of what we're working on dropping Rinko, our friend, into the lava, because, yeah, that's things you do with your friends. We need 3 medallions,
dip in
though.
the hot tub.
Yeah, dip in the hot tub. Yeah, we need 3 medallions to release the chains so it can fall into the lava. And yeah, this whole area is like a huge puzzle because you need, the doors all have like, there's like these gates and they all have the corresponding color, so you need to like do the right combination.
Yeah, the big switches she's pulling are switching off which color gates are open, so it's a little bit of kind of a map navigation puzzle, and also sometimes if you unlock a certain color gate, it's gonna let loose enemies that were penned up before.
Yeah,
so you need to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, and some parts you will trap them, and other parts you will set them free again. Very cool.
I like it. I think it's a fun idea for an area.
Yeah, I honestly like this part a lot. Because in this part you get to like really explore, because the places we were like supposed to be like reminiscent of our friends' like homes and things like that, and you really get to learn about her friends. Oh, okay. Are you gonna follow me? Yeah, okay. So this is something that unfortunate that can happen. If this happens, you kind of have to kill the mannequin. Usually it doesn't, but it can happen. Basically, if they follow you down here, this door, for some reason, will not let you through until they're dead. It's like the only door I can think of that does this. It's really weird.
Here's the birthing monster.
Yeah. So yeah, here's the, I guess, Hinako's ult, I guess you could say. Which we use quite a bit to kind of traverse around, because as you can see, she goes a lot faster. Then we have the last item that we put on, and there we go. In the other difficulties, like other puzzle difficulties, you can have up to like 3 items I think you need to collect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah, thankfully for casual, or I guess story puzzle difficulty, you only need the 1 comic book. Alright, this part will be fun. This will probably be the like part where the frame rate drops the most, because it's really hard to load forests that are foggy. So yeah, now we're actually going to Shu's house. Because Rinko's house wasn't safe, so surely Shu's house will be safe, right? And yeah, again, we just tank the lady's hits. Most of the time she actually, on casual, doesn't even hit you. Sometimes she just, I don't know. Oh, she even tried to grab. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. They're kind of spicy, huh?
She's showing off for
today.
They're showing off for the marathon. Yeah, there you go. You can see the little Twizzlers. That one's kind of like
be avoided,
oh, go ahead.
right?
Yeah, I managed to avoid it once somehow, and I don't even know. I don't know. I don't even know what happened. I don't think that's normally supposed to happen. Somehow she managed to squeeze through. But yeah, this forest is very confusing, and you will be looking at a map a lot. There's a lot of ways you can go, and oddly enough, one right way. Alright, we'll just take this now. But yeah, I take it the Higashi, which is what gives you the infinite stamina for like a minute or so. You can take it anywhere in this part. I just like to take it before because I'll forget. But yeah, we have the fog monster from the beginning of the game chasing us again. And we have a bunch of friends with her as well.
And we are now just going back the way we came. So if you know this is coming, it is kind of nice going in to kind of you can scout out the route ahead of time and at least know which way you're turning, because there are a lot of wrong turns on this chase segment.
Yeah, I died a lot in my first playthrough here.
Yeah, because if you go the wrong way once, that's basically just death right there, right?
Yeah. And there's some parts like that tree that falls. If the tree falls in front of you, you're just dead. There's no other way you can go.
And there is at one point, and I figured out that I had been making my life harder from watching Panda speedrun this, because there is one point where there's 2 correct ways to go, but the way that looks like it's going to be quicker, there's a lady there who's almost guaranteed to grab you, and that is extremely slow and very annoying.
But yeah, actually a lot of these enemies are kind of just here for show, like to spook you. They don't actually really participate. Though you can get caught in the little Twizzler sauce still, if you like don't stay exactly in the middle. But if you get caught, you can get caught like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times before she catches up to you, because she seems to go slower on casual. The only reason why I know that is because at the very beginning when she chases you, speedrunners are very aware of the exact time that she catches up to you, because it's always the same. And yeah, it's funny enough, that part is actually faster on Lost in the Fog, because she runs faster.
And now, because we haven't taken any of those pills, that's kind of the cutscene they give you to confirm that you've ticked off that condition for the ending. So we are marked safe from taking pills. We are all good on that front now.
Yeah, and I didn't mention it, but we just picked up a sword. That sacred sword is currently tainted. We'll need to purify it for the ending we're gonna get. But it's very good. It's funny because it's actually a very good sword when it's not purified, because it has like an automatic counter. I'm gonna pick this stuff up.
And we did just skip through another entire chapter that we would have had to work through the long way around on New Game.
Yeah, this chapter is really long because this is where you do like all the rituals and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have a cool walk and talk that we're forced to see, but it's a nice break time for us, I guess.
Yeah. Also, the nice thing about having that area there is if you don't have kind of your alt mode for your fox arm charged up, you can at least farm a couple enemies there and get it charged up going into this boss fight we're about to have.
Oh, actually, you don't even have to worry about it.
Really?
Because, yeah, she actually just starts the fight in that mode for some reason for this fight. I don't know why.
God dang it.
Don't ask me why, but she does for some reason. But I will have to charge it after that, so don't worry. Also, a few people back, one of those ladies on the side was actually our sister.
Yeah, everybody else here is a fox, but our sister's wearing an owl mask.
Whoa, okay. I don't know where we're going, but fine.
The close grab. See, it looked like she was going completely off.
There we go. Yeah, and that was Rinko. So our second boss fight. Yeah, a lot of the boss fights are very, very quick. For that one specifically, we take advantage of one of the charms we have, Rabbit. Basically, every time you do a perfect dodge, it stacks. You get a stack. You can have up to 5. And you do more damage, basically. I'm gonna switch these out. Where is Hawk? There we go.
And this year we're only about...
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
We're about 2/3 of the way into the game, but this is the last segment here before we lock in what ending we're getting. So any chance we have to move freely around the town map and the woods and do stuff or get collectibles if you're running casually, all of that has to get done before we go into Hinako's house, which is where we're headed now. Because after that, you're locked into wherever you're going.
Also, you might be like, what the hell? Where did we get a lightsaber? We actually picked it up very early into the game, but we kind of just pick it up really quickly and leave. You might have seen the little teeny cutscene of the UFO dropping the sword for us when we talked to the poster.
Yeah, once you do the UFO ending on a file, you unlock this lightsaber thing, and then you can just pick it up right away on any subsequent playthrough on that file.
Yeah, and I highly recommend getting that ending. It's very good. It's one of the best endings of this game.
It is. It's very good. The extremely short version of UFO ending is Shu is kind of a jerk.
Also, like half the time of this, roughly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even less than half, because you get the UFO ending in like chapter 5.
Alright, here's our second and final kitchen knife of the game. And this is our last task for the 4th ending. Hinako has a little fox brooch that was given to her that we offered to the Jizo statue there. If you forget to do that, when you enter the house up here, you'll find out very quickly that you messed something up. I've totally never done that before.
I don't even know what ending
What are you
to get.
Oh, it locks you into a 1, actually.
Oh, really? Even if you didn't do pills, that's weird.
I guess because you purified the sword, I think, is why. Also, that phone call is very fun. Unfortunately, we don't get to listen to it, but...
Yeah, phone's ringing, we got other things we need to do.
Yeah, we have to go fast.
Yeah, that's some guy who I think is calling to yell at our dad because our dad owes him money.
So yeah, we were just in Hinako's house. This is also Hinako's house. Yeah, I don't know. Don't worry about it. Yeah, this part is very interesting because you end up going in like a series of 3 versions of Hinako's house. And all of them are very wrong.
Yeah, this, and I would say also the woods where we did the, like, chase segment were the most frustrating to learn for the run, because I'm extremely directionally challenged.
So this puzzle is like another riddle. You just balance the scale. And it changes for each puzzle difficulty, like the weight of each piece changes. So like in this puzzle difficulty, Hinako needs to be on one side of the scale by herself, and then in like other difficulties, like her piece can be like really light or... So yeah, this is Hinako's bedroom. And we just opened her diary to get a wax block that we need to melt so we can get a key.
It's a really gross looking wax block. Like, even when I know what it is, it still looks like a lump of flesh to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is on purpose.
Yeah, when it said it was a wax block, I'm like, are you sure? I don't know. Yeah, so the second Twizzler sauce dude, you can actually hit him to prevent him from basically spitting up all over the floor. That way you can just run through. Sometimes though, I don't know, he just goes around the corner really quickly, so it's really just RNG if he's gonna be there or not be there. But yeah, now we get to finally use all the stuff we collected.
Propane accessories.
There's our key. Okay, well, we might get grabbed. We'll find out.
I hate this room. I've been grabbed like twice, and I haven't even done that many runs of this.
Oh, she opted to just stab me instead. Nice. Yeah, this part's can be frustrating to learn because there's 3 versions of the house and you need to basically remember where you are at all times. So like right now we're in version 3, we were just in version 2, and then like we got the key in version 1. Also like this door will change spots depending on the ending that you are locked into. The ending that you choose basically affects like all of the room placement in this house. Also, yeah.
That puzzle on the bed.
Oh, go ahead.
That puzzle on the bedroom door also changes with the ending you're locked into, instead of the puzzle difficulty you're on.
So yeah, this is our 3rd boss fight. Which is very quick. as you can see. Yeah, you actually are fighting Hinako's mom and dad, but you don't actually have to fight the mom at all. There's actually an achievement for that too, if you defeat the dad without defeating the mom. Only problem with that is the mom hits very, very hard, especially on Lost in the Fog. What were you gonna say, Spin?
I was just gonna say the mom is kind of a ranged fighter, so if you don't have to beat her, but if you are solely focused on wailing on your dad, she can cause you a lot of problems while you're not paying attention to her, depending what mood she's in. And this is a forced combat section. Now we have to kill everybody in each area to progress.
Yeah, because you need to get the medallions out of these boxes, and the, like, talisman sealing the box won't even dissolve until all the enemies are defeated. Also, this is another puzzle. I didn't even figure this puzzle out until I started speedrunning, which is really funny to me. But they want you to use the, like, the focus attack thing to, find out, like, which of these statues is pointing to the, like, right door. Yeah, I never figured that out. Because if you go in the wrong door, you have a forced fight with two Irohihis, and the game will do that over and over. The game does not care if you've done it 40 times. You will do it a 41st time.
I just kept going through the wrong door until it finally worked.
That's what I do.
Clearly, if I do the wrong thing over and over, it'll just work eventually, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just usually work my way, like, around the room clockwise.
Yeah, so I never even picked up on that, like, those were, like, basically, like, wrong, like, rooms.
I did think they were kind of silly. Like, they're kind of pointless, but I did not pick up on why.
Also, this room is really cool. Yeah, this fight can either be really fast or really slow, because she will just keep, like, spitting out more eggs, and if they hatch, then you have more enemies to fight, so usually you try to focus on her first. But yeah, now we have all the medallions so we can put them in, and you can see the solution is very, very easy on casual. It is a fun riddle, though, to figure out.
And then after this is, yeah, I was gonna say, this is where the game's just like, oh, do you want to skip chapters? Not do a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, so before the big update, you actually had to, you had to fight through like 2 extra chapters, and then they decided to make those 2 chapters, since they were all forced fights, optional. Which honestly, well, as speedrunner, great, because I get to save time, but I think in general it's a good move on their part, because there are 5 different endings. 4 of those endings require you to play through like the entire game. So yeah, it does get kind of tiring when you're there for like the 4th time.
But yeah, we have swapped Hinakos now, so the Hinako who has, you know, knives and pipes and weapons durability is now in the Dark Shrine area, and the part we skipped over was Fox Arm Hinako kind of wailing her way through Abisugaoka.
Yeah, and we're now basically in the... This is the final, like, set piece. And these are also forced fights, until you beat everyone, the like little like flame wall won't dissipate, so you can go through. And for this part, we actually fight these in a specific order, so we fight, we get rid of this egg first, then this one, and now we ignore the Irohihi, we do not want to hit him, and now we can fight him. So the reason for that is if you actually fight him first, all of the eggs will hatch when you get close to them, so you should take out all the eggs first and then fight him. And now we're actually kind of running through the area that I guess Fox Hinako was going through like earlier in the game, but we're just like going straight through the areas instead of like, you know, figuring stuff out and such. But obviously it's a bit twisted because not all of these like mirror exactly where she went. And this is it. This is the final boss. We're gonna change swords. We're gonna finally use the Purified Sacred Sword for something. And it actually does a very good job at its one thing it does. So this is QB? Same QB from Naruto, yes.
Exactly the same, no difference.
Yeah, exactly the same. Also, that's Tsukumogami. He was the doll, now he's not the doll, he's gone. He'll be back, don't worry. We have a total of 6 fights to do.
Yeah, 3 faces for each side.
Alright, got this done. Nice. Also, yeah, we tank his hits here again because it's way more important for us to charge the sword so we can get rid of him. Ah, okay, that's my bad. That's okay though. Thankfully, since we're not playing on... If that was Lost in the Fog, I would be really dead right now. The deadest.
That's like an insta-kill grab on Lost in the Fog.
Yep. We'll just use this in case. We'll probably be fine, but... Yeah, you can only tank that hit on Lost in the Fog if you have full health, which most of the time you just don't. And yeah, time is coming up on the final hit for him. So that's 1. So time will be... Oh. GG.
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 Thanks. Yeah, that's Silent Hill F.
I also like that Hinako has to pipe again in the cutscenes. Like,
Yeah.
I never used that once.
No, we totally use the pipe. What do you mean? But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Pandemonium. You can watch me over at twitch.tv/Pandemonium, where currently we're just vibing. I don't know. I don't know what my next speedrun plans are.
I am still spinning their yarns. I've been on a break from streaming, but I'm going to be back this weekend. I'm going to be checking out Observation, which is the previous game by the guys making Silent Hill Townfall, so that'll be cool.
Ooh.
I don't know if you want to go first, Garlic.
And yeah, I'm Garlic. I like I said in the beginning, I do run this game. I am hoping to come back to it for at least a few more PB attempts if I can get my PC to run it.
Yeah.
The realist pain, gotta fight the frames. Yeah, I'm dubious. I still need to finish this game casually, and I probably should do that before the end of the year. But otherwise, I've mostly been doing speedruns of a game called Dark Ties, and probably will be going back to that once I am back from a trip that I'm leaving for in like maybe a day or so.
All right. Thank you all again for the run. Normally I would ask you to plug yourselves, but we have it all covered. If you do want to check out anyone, as they mentioned, the channels are there. For Pandemonium, we do have the link in Twitch chat if you are interested in more Silent Hill F, a variety of other horror games, and I suppose weird games is a good way of putting it. There's some odd titles in there like Dead Souls, and I'm pretty sure Deadly Prem, right?
I actually haven't played it. I do need to play it.
I'm thinking of a different one, but I know some of the Yakuza games. Because we
do like Yakuza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. But yeah, that was Silent Hill F. We do have... Alright, everyone, welcome back from the break. So we do have one more run for you tonight. Before we get to that, I do just want to say thank you to everyone once again for being patient and just for being so I guess fluid with the schedule. It was quite nice to have the run of Silent Hill F a little bit earlier to accommodate for all this. So I do want to thank Pandemonium and the commentators once again for being able to work with that. But luckily for all of us as well, and just for the show, I suppose, it does seem like Ed's computer is working once again. Tested it out during that last run, so fingers crossed, you know? So now, obviously the last run, the other Silent Hill 1 run didn't quite happen. So we're going to be doing that again. Silent Hill, new game, easy, same introduction, Ed the Rando. Go for it.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I am Ed the Rando. I am a retro console player. I just play old games on my consoles, and I'm a Silent Hill 1 speedrunner. And today we're going to try to use a new skip in New Game Easy. And I guess we'll get started right now. So, timer will start when I select Easy. So that would be 3, 2, 1, go. Now, one thing about Silent Hill 1 is that this is an IGT game, meaning that the IGT actually stops in the cutscenes, and it doesn't really... You could watch all the cutscenes and still get a very, very good time. And that's not really important for the run, except for this part here. You actually want to wait for Harry to stop walking, because when you get control of Harry, he actually starts off further ahead. So that's actually an immediate time save at the very start of the run. Beyond that, we basically just skip all the cutscenes, though. There's really no point to watching them. Any cutscene that I'll be watching here will be ones that I can't skip. Like this one here.
Where are you going? Hey, wait! Stop!
Now, from this point, what you want Harry to do is you want him to basically, by the time the next cutscene starts, you want him to just be on the curb here. And the reason, again, is because the IGT stops during this, and he actually runs into the alley a little bit. If you're too close to the fence, he will not run into the alley. So again, it's another little time save. This alley is kind of tricky to learn. You eventually get the muscle memory and you just understand how it's configured, but the camera is usually facing towards Harry, so it's hard to see where you're going. So it's kind of tough to learn, but once you get it, it's a pretty relaxing part. Well, maybe not. Maybe relaxing isn't the word, but it's not too bad. The goal here is to die as quickly as possible.
What is this?
And usually what many of us do is we'll just strafe and turn right at the same time. And ideally we get grabbed by the first guy like this and stabbed by the second one. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Sometimes you could just get bad RNG and they both completely ignore Harry. They're just like, they just walk around him. It's frustrating. All right. So we're in the cafe. You want to pick up the flashlight, the map, and the knife. I didn't really intend on picking up the health drink, but we might be using it later anyway, so it doesn't really hurt.
What's that? Huh. Radio. What's going on with that radio?
What's going on with that radio? In busts an air screamer. And this air screamer can take anywhere between 3 to 6 shots to kill, depending on RNG. 5 is the most common, and that's what we got there. Because the handgun does random damage, and the air screamer also has random health, so... They're both within a certain range, but nevertheless, you want a screamer with low health and the handgun to do high damage. Okay. So this is honestly the dull part of the run right here. We have to grab the 3 keys to Eclipse, and then we grab, and then we go to the 11th Street house. But it does take quite a while because Harry's just running down the street. Not much to do right now. I was saying before, before my PC crashed last time, that this is actually a pretty difficult game to break in a speedrun. Whoops. In a speedrun viable way. So this new skip is actually a pretty big deal for Silent Hill 1. Because it saves about a little over 3 minutes if you do it well. The problem is it's a 4-part skip, so you have to do all 4 parts well. It is tricky, but I will do my best. These air screamers are a nuisance. They tend to be worse on normal difficulty. So if you're running, let's say, the UFO category, which is a normal difficulty run, I don't know if they're more aggressive or what, but they seem to cost us more time. Pick up the 3rd key. He is chasing me. They do tend to lose interest after a while. Yeah, he just decided to fly away. This road is so long. Not really much to say here. I've long believed that the run actually really starts in this school. Like, once you get to this school, that's when it gets a little bit more interesting, because then you have to do a bunch of dodges and things like that. Now, you have to pick up that paper, because if you don't, Harry will not know to look in the doghouse for a key. I guess this is a good time to explain what bonks are in this game. Harry has a tendency to bonk into walls and doors if he's running into them at high speeds. So, and that door is notoriously difficult to avoid a bonk. Generally, to avoid bonks, we actually run at an angle. So you'll notice that I approach most of the doors and gates at like roughly a 45-degree angle or so. This is to help avoid the bonks. That's also why I did that little thing where he stopped in front of the door. It's just slightly quicker than bonking. Many of the high-level runners can actually approach that door at the right angle so that he doesn't bonk, but I've been unable to do that. At least consistently. I can do it once in a while, but I don't think I would have to practice it before actually trying it in a run. Another thing you will notice is that I will be manipulating the flashlight a lot. You can actually de-aggro many of the enemies by turning off the flashlight. The dogs will chase you no matter what, but the air screamers will generally be de-aggroed. So if one of them chases me, I can just turn off the flashlight and there's a good chance they'll just leave me alone. Okay. Now, the school is interesting because every single hallway has its own dodge, and they're all kind of a little bit different. So with this first one, you kind of want to take like a reverse S shape, left, right, left. I took it a little bit wide there, but meanwhile, when you're coming back, you want to actually turn off the light and then hug the right wall. These are the safer strats. All right, so the first thing we want to do is grab the chemical. And pour it on the hand. Then we got to return back down to the clock tower, and as I said before, I'm going to be turning off the flashlight and just hugging the right wall. Every gray child in the school has a chance of grabbing you, even if you do the safe strat, but this lowers your chances of getting grabbed. Use it here because this is how you unlock the piano. Just stick to the right there. Sometimes he spawns on the right, and then you'll want to stick to the left, and then sometimes he's in the middle of the hall, and you'll probably get grabbed if that happens. The piano. Oh! You don't want to ding the piano. You want to hit C, A sharp, G, or sorry, D, A sharp, G, then C sharp. You don't want to ding it. But you know what? We consider those dings good luck. We're going to get a perfect romper now. Turn off the light, and now we run to the boiler room so we can unlock the clock tower. You have to do it in these steps because whenever you put something into the clock tower, it actually unlocks something else. So we couldn't... Ideally, we would be able to just grab the gold medallion and then the silver medallion while we're upstairs. Okay, that was not intentional. He was supposed to strafe there. But using the gold medallion actually unlocks the piano. All right. And that is normal school done. Yeah, the Grey Children, like the Air Screamers, although to a lesser extent, can usually be de-aggroed by turning off the light. So... we will be encountering enemies later that honestly just don't really care about the light. They will attack you either way. This is where you pick up the shotgun. This shotgun is your best friend. It is the only weapon you will use for the rest of the run. And this honestly applies to most of the categories in Silent Hill 1 speedrunning. The only exceptions being, of course, knife only, and 10-star. But every other category, you're going to want to use the shotgun. You go up to the 3rd floor. And this next menu here is where we equip the shotgun. That door is notoriously difficult to bonk. I think I bonk into that door maybe 50% of the time. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. Maybe using the term notorious, I shouldn't be using that word. Maybe it's just a me problem. I don't know if other people have that issue, but that door always... It bugs me. It troubles me. So we pick up the key. Turn off the lights. Now, we're going to be picking up an item here that is not actually essential for the speedrun, but I personally recommend it. It's this box of shotgun shells. You don't need them, but there is a chance you can run out of ammunition in this run, and you don't want that. You don't want to be fighting Incubator and hear that horrible click sound. It's a devastating sound. You can get by without that box of shells, but it's just good insurance. By the way, that is, in my opinion, the best jump scare in the game, and honestly, my favorite jump scare in the series. I think it's just so perfectly timed. Because we picked up those extra shells, we're actually going to be doing the split head fight slightly differently from what you may see. And I'll explain it when I get there. There are two ways of doing these valves. The right ones, you're always going to want to turn left twice, the right valve. And the left one, you could either turn it left, I believe, 3 times or right once. If you mash fast enough, it's actually faster to turn it left. Because the IGT actually stops when the turnstiles are turning. That's why it's not actually a big problem if you make a mistake here. Because the IGT is stopped right now, so... Okay, split head. In this fight, most runners will take the usual New Game Easy strat with him, where basically you run up to him, you fire 3 shots, then that puts him into phase 2, and when he opens his mouth, you fire 2 shots, and that kills him. We're actually going to basically spam shotgun shells because we can afford to, because of the extra ones we picked up. And hopefully, we can kill him with 1 shot in the mouth. So it's just a little time save there. And that's that. So as you guys can see, it's been a pretty straightforward run so far. You know, pick up key, unlock door, etc., etc. But this is where it gets a little more complicated, is after the bridge control room. So now that we've done the school, we can unlock the K. Gordon house. Many people, including myself, have looked for ways to try to skip the school using out of bounds, but it's very, very difficult. I don't even know if it's possible to go out of bounds prior to the school. But if you could, well, you can just skip it entirely. Let's run through the trees here. Up the alley. I generally stay on the left side, but I'm not sure it really matters. I think at least one air screamer is going to harass you. By the way, if one is following you and they're about to kick you, just do little zigzag movements, and there's a good chance you can dodge. But even that's not guaranteed. Sometimes they're just so determined they just want to kick Harry. And you know what? That's relatable. That's a relatable feeling. You speedrun this game long enough, you want to kick Harry too. All right. Okay. So coming up is the bridge control room, which is actually a pretty difficult room to do perfectly because the frame rate just drops to a crawl. And it's very difficult to get Harry properly to go around the blue railing there. So what I might do is a little safe strat where I run directly to the health drink and then I strafe right. Because again, I might need a health drink anyway. Because Sybil, she could be scary. Sometimes she acts in a way that's not very predictable, and the consequences for such are catastrophic. It could be very bad. Oop. And just strafe to here. Use the key. And the new skip will start when we get into Central Silent Hill. The skip was discovered a little over a month ago, and yeah, it saves a little over 3 minutes, so it's a pretty significant time save. But it's tricky. It's a 4-part skip. The first part is to get this romper from in front of the police station to follow you to the antique shop. Dodge that guy. That guy almost always tries to attack you. He is a menace. What are you doing? What are you doing? You ran the other way. Okay. Sometimes the romper doesn't behave. So what you want the romper to do is to jump on Harry and basically be munching on his back as he pushes you through that transition. It's into the hallway. It's actually more difficult than it sounds, and oftentimes people don't get it on a first attempt. Oof. Okay, that was unintentional. Another thing you want to do is not run too fast because Harry can actually outrun the romper, so you want to take little periodic walking steps just to allow him to catch up. I let him catch up too much there, so. Rats. So that's a failed attempt, unfortunately. You see Harry's floating? This is not what we want. There is a backup for this, but normally if you're trying to go for like a 27 or a 26, that's a rip run, unfortunately. There's a backup, and you can honestly still get a top 10 time by doing this backup, but you will lose time. So that's part one. Ideally, what you do is you actually get the romper to, munch on Harry's back as you're going through that transition. And then it can actually basically put Harry into more or less a no-clip situation where he can just run through walls. This is what we want, because we want to get him out of bounds. This is another way of doing it, though. Now that is actually a death pit. That will kill Harry, but the handgun bullets actually give him a little bit of invincibility if you investigate them at the right time. What we're gonna do, is get kicked by another screamer. Man, they just harass Harry. He's not even within bounds. All right. Now, no matter what happens, your collision is completely reset when you go across the bridge here. So even if you get the proper out of bounds romper, he can't run through walls anymore. But we are still out of bounds, which is the important thing. This is what we want, is to be out of bounds. Again, if the romper had just done his job correctly, then there's a completely different line you could take directly to this bridge, and it saves a significant amount of time. So this is like the backup strat. So what you want to do is run up there, and you want to end up on this platform here. By the way, part 2 was getting back into Old Silent Hill. This is part 3, and because this part can actually kill Harry Mason, we're gonna do a safety save. You wouldn't do a safety save in a speed run in this, but given the circumstances, I think we'll do one now. And I'll explain how the safety save works in a second. I'll explain the whole debug save thing, but I gotta concentrate. So you want Harry to be maybe like this? And you want to slowly inch back from the banister. Did I do it correctly? I did. Okay. That's part 3. Harry is now completely desynced. The game has no idea where his collision is. So you can actually run into here, and he is out of bounds again. Even though he looks like he's in bounds, his collision box is out of bounds. So you turn right a little more than 90 degrees and you run to the sewers. And if I took the right line, we should be getting there pretty soon. If you do this correctly, you skip the entire hospital, the float stinger fight, and actually the old romper skip too.
Funniest thing about this skip is it skipped the old hardest trick in the game by replacing it with a new version of the same hardest trick in the game, but just like worse.
Yeah, exactly.
What's wild to me is that you have a backup.
Yeah, I had. Oh, I was just about to say. Oh, and we can skip the hospital. We can enter the sewers directly because Harry's collision is still behind the fence. So that's how that works. And now because we entered a new map ID, a new map overlay as they call it, his collision's completely reset and we can run the game like normal. Anyway, what were you saying? Sorry.
What was I going to say? I don't know how you managed to find a backup for the romper that is like... I feel like it would have been easier to get another romper.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been faster to get another romper, but I'm not sure about easier, because you could always fail the second romper
saying,
too, right? So it's like, at least this is more consistent.
With handgun bullets. I don't know how that's easy.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. The thing is, you can only do that backup after failing the romper, because the floating Harry is another example of the desyncing, where his the game doesn't know where his collision is. So you can only do that after getting the floating Harry, like the failing the romper. But yeah, it took a little bit of labbing. I only actually really figured it out like yesterday, because I was scared to death. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna fail romper 1,000,000 times on this, and then like I gotta find a backup.
It went well.
Jeez. It did. I wish I had gotten the first try romper correctly, but...
Oh yeah, we should also tell everyone one of the little caveats of this trick, that also, in pursuit of great time save, you make the run harder. So the old route of this game, there was a romper skip you used to skip the float stinger fight, which is the giant moth. You would have to do the hospital normally. In the hospital, there's an item called the red liquid, or the Agliofotis. Normally you would get this and you'd be able to skip one of the hardest, if not the hardest boss fight in the game. We don't get that anymore.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So now that means that we have to fight Sybil, and that's more akin to the all bosses run than the old new game easy run. And she can be very unreliable, and she can be very deadly too, because she does tremendous amounts of damage when she shoots Harry, which is understandable. It's a gunshot. But yeah, that's another part of the run that we have to do now, and that's why I picked up those extra shotgun shells, because sometimes she takes more shots, just depending on how you do it. And yeah, she behaves a little bit differently at times. So I figured I would be safe and grab the extra shells. Also, and I did say I was going to talk about that debug save. I'll talk about that after this. Two things. Number one is these scratchers are the sewer scratchers, the lizard guys, also do not respond to turning off the light. That's why I just keep it on the whole time. They don't really care if you turn it off. They're going to attack you either way. Secondly is that something happens sometimes with that Sybil fight, like the cutscene afterwards, where the game will glitch out and Harry will lose one of his arms. This happened to Barizzle, the current world record holder, and it happened to me during a knife-only run, and I have no idea what causes it. So let's hope that we can finish this run with both of our arms. And yeah. Actually, this has been a pretty good sewer. So the debug save is something that was only discovered, I think, maybe a year or two ago. It was relatively recently. You can actually save this game by pausing it, holding L1, L2, left on the D-pad, and left on both analog sticks, and then clicking the left analog stick, so L3. If you do it correctly, it'll actually open a save where you can save the game anywhere. And yeah, like, it's pretty neat for things like this. For, like, if you want to practice. Of course, an emulator with save states is still better, but, you know, this is a pretty good substitute. So now we just run along this fence here. This romper does respond to light, so we want to turn the light off. It'll just lessen his chances of attacking us. I said lessen! You fool! I should shoot him. I won't though. This is a speedrun. I just had to say it. I couldn't have waited until afterwards and then been like, oh guys, you could turn your light off and, you know. You just had to prove me wrong. All right. I am still convinced, and I've been saying this for years, I believe that the rompers, I don't know the exact, like, functions, I don't know how their AI works. I'm pretty sure they're more aggressive in the resort than they were in Central Silent Hill. Because, or at least, if not that, I think they're more aggressive at night than they are in the daytime, because the romper that you get to do the skip, they never lunge at you from that far away. You actually have to slow down so it catches up to you. These guys will just chase you and then they'll just jump at you from like 30 feet away. So it's I don't know. It could be my imagination. Right, dodge the dog. Get to the boat. And this romper is the worst enemy of the game. I firmly believe this. I stand firm on this one. This top of stairs romper is such a troll. He's trying. Don't do it. We're okay. But that proves my point. Yeah. Very unfortunate, and I think it's just RNG, honestly. I think turning off the light helps a little bit, but I think that sometimes he'll just jump on you. Whoops. And I think you lose several seconds every time it happens too, so it's actually a pretty devastating thing if you're trying to go for world record. Especially this late in the game, like after doing the skip and everything. It's just, it's a terrible monkey. always such awkward movement in that lighthouse, going both upstairs and downstairs. All right. Luckily, the game teleports us back to the boat so we don't have to do that whole run again. I'm very grateful for this, because it's tricky. All right. I got lucky there. I should have had the light off. And he tried to kick me, but somehow missed. Now, Sewers 2 is pretty straightforward, actually. It's just right, left. Sewers 1 takes a lot more time to learn because it's kind of it's a little bit of a maze, but this one is just, yeah. First tunnel on the right. Turn right again. And then it'll be your tunnel on the left. You want to take that corner there a little bit wide because sometimes a hanged scratcher will just come out and attack you immediately. So not only will he attack you, but he'll also block you. So I like to take that angle just a little bit wide. That corner a little bit wide. Okay. So because I'm afraid of Sybil, I'm going to use a health drink before I get into this next battle here. To get to her, you just go right. Past the larval stalkers. Yeah, there is a hilarious cutscene that we used to get in the old New Game Easy run. It's the only cutscene that I watched every time. Because Harry throws the Aglophidus onto the larval stalker, but it's like a mix of that and like the Sybil cutscene, and then he just like flies around and it gets all distorted, and it's hilarious. Okay. Now, with this battle, I like to start off by holding aim and shoot. So he fires immediately. We want to fire usually 4 shots. Lower the gun, raise it immediately, fire 3 more. Or fire until she drops the gun. The reason I lower the gun there is because when she's kind of staggering back a little bit, she actually has iframes. She can't be hurt when she's doing that, so... And that's that. And something I guess I did not mention yet, people who speedrun this game should know this, but people who maybe are not familiar with the speedrun of this game, you may have noticed that I haven't reloaded the gun once. For some reason, the way this game is coded, you don't actually have to reload the gun at all in the menu. He reloads it every time he aims it. So as long as you don't fire more than 6 shots in succession without re-aiming the gun, he won't do a reload animation. If you lower the gun and then re-raise it, he'll have a full shotgun. Assuming you have the shells, of course. So I'm not sure why they chose to do that, but it certainly comes in handy in a speedrun. And that's why I lowered the gun when Sybil had iframes, it's just to reload it. So yeah, we're in Nowhere, which is funny enough, probably the comfiest part of the run now, in my opinion. Nowhere is actually pretty relaxing. Some of the puzzles can be kind of a little tricky to do, like the alert puzzle, for example, but it's not too bad. And the second last hallway, there's a certain dodge that's pretty tricky to get, but we'll see if we can get it. But other than that, these nurses largely leave you alone. Use a screwdriver. And as you folks can see, Harry has both of his arms, which is awesome. Good job, Harry. Whoops. Man. Also worth noting is that in this screen right here, the IGT actually stops. So if you need to look at notes or something like that, like, okay, what do I press here at the Gemini? Or you could just count their limbs. All right. Here you want to enter alerts. Poor Lisa. Rest in peace, Lisa. See, as you can see, Nowhere is actually pretty relaxed. It's not too bad. In my opinion, it's the easiest part of the run. It's stressful in the sense that if you're on world record pace or something, any end game part of a game is stressful, but in a vacuum, it's actually a pretty relaxing part of the run. Oops. Yes, use the screwdriver on the clock. I think I used to cringe at this cutscene for the first, 3 years of running this game, because I always just imagined him getting glass in his eye, and that's horrible. Alright. You want to go directly to the 3rd floor. Nowhere has also got a weird setup, because the 1st floor and the 2nd floor are kind of the same, in a weird way. You can walk from 1st floor to 2nd floor without any obvious stairs or anything like that. It's very strange, and it's very disorienting at first, too. So we have the birdcage key. Now we go back to the 2nd floor. Shoot this nurse twice. Unlock this door, and now we're back at that 1st hallway. This birdcage key, you can actually just inspect it. You don't actually need to go into your menu to open it. Now, you must use the ring on this fridge, or else the fridge will eat you. Which, funny enough, didn't happen to me for the first 5 years of speedrunning this game, but it happened to me a couple months ago. I just completely forgot to use the ring. Harry's going to open this bag of jelly beans with conviction. I like to think that, imagine if there was no key in there and then, Harry just made the decision to open the bag of jelly beans and they all fall on the floor and then he walks off. Alright. Now turn off the generator. This also turns off the elevator that we went to the 3rd floor on, so that's why you gotta unlock this door here. I got pretty lucky there, actually. That dodge for me is always a YOLO. I think I get it about 60-65% of the time. Grab the key. we're almost at the final boss. And what you want to do, so you want to use these 5 items here, is you want to take 4 walking steps to the final boss, wait until she charges her electricity, and then just shoot her. And time will be on somewhere between the 4th or the 6th shot, depending on RNG. So get ready. One, 2, 3, 4. Wait. Time.
GG.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And that's it. So that's not the optimal way of doing it. Obviously, you want to get that romper on the first try, and then you could just run directly out of bounds. You don't have to do the thing with the bullets or anything. So, unfortunately, I didn't get it.
You showed off some pretty wild tech, all things considered. I wouldn't be ashamed of that. Just casually sending Harry into the void twice.
Yeah.
Really quick, we will check out the in-game time at the end. I know it shows up as you get to that screen. Really quick, if anyone did ever want to find you, watch what you're doing, what are you doing, and where can they find you?
They could find me at twitch.tv/ed_the_rando. And yeah, I basically just do old console games, like just games that I like from my youth. But this is the game that I've really been focusing on speedrunning. I've done all the categories, including knife only, 10-star, things like that. And I haven't said this to too many people yet. I want to learn Silent Hill 4. And I know nothing about that speedrun. So if you want to watch me learn yeah, I know RNG is crazy in that. So yeah, if you want to watch me learn that basically from scratch, because I've watched runs, but speedrunning is one of those things for me, like unless I'm actively learning or practicing, I can't retain the information just by watching people. Like it just kind of goes, just goes through me. So for all intents and purposes, I know pretty much nothing about Silent Hill 4 speedrunning. So if you want to watch me learn, then that will probably be happening sometime in the next month or two. And yeah, other than that, I do run this game regularly, and that's about it. So I guess we can see the in-game time.
Yeah, still pretty wild, all the discoveries you made on this, and some pretty big stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. This is a 29:52, so not great, but
give that like a few months ago, and that basically would have been like a top 5 time, I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Exactly. Because yeah, the old world record was a 29:35, and it was tied. It was JJ Fox Legacy and Vendrick, and that, for anybody who knows the old New Game Easy Run, that is an extremely difficult time to get. For context, my old PB was a 30:18, so it was like 45 seconds or so better than my old time, and I'm okay at this game, So yeah, the new world record is a 26:42. So it saves over 3 minutes. So yeah.
Thank you for the run once again.
But,
anything before you hop off you'd like
to
throw in?
No, just thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the patience. Thank Richard as well. Thank everybody for sticking around. And yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you once again, and I'm glad we were able to get it going. It would have been a shame, to end on the earlier note, but I'm glad we got it there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once again, as well, if you did enjoy the run, that was Ed the Rando. You can find the link in chat. A lot of fun retro games and speedruns. And that being said, I hope we all enjoyed this episode of Speedruns from the Crypt. It was pretty fun putting this on. Silent Hill is one of my favorite franchises, and it is just kind of fun to see the breadth of Silent Hill runs and really how broken they can get, because sometimes you don't think about that. As well, before you do go, if you're ever watching this on YouTube, you can consider liking, subscribing, or becoming a channel member to support GDQ, and you catch up on all the past GDQ Hotfix shows and marathons over at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. I've been your host, Dices. I do a lot of planning for these shows, so if you ever have, curious in the process, I tend to do my own thing around the internet, I guess. If you did miss out on Crosshair or Speedruns From the Crypt, you can stay tuned as we replay both shows after this, and you can tune in Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for Fast Travel and Passion Project. With that being said, have a wonderful rest of the day or night.